What's a black man like you doing in a car like this? Officer Cooper stares at the elderly black man inside. 73. Mercedes, Charleston's wealthiest neighborhood. He yanks the door open, ignores explanations about hip surgeries, and drags him out, then slams the elderly black man's face against the car hood. Blood runs from his mouth. The wallet falls. Cooper picks it up, sees the ID, United States Supreme Court Justice. The blood drains from Cooper's face. Comment if you've been judged by your skin before anyone knew your name. A tourist across the street films everything. Cooper's body camera was manually turned off before the assault. The bleeding man spent 40 years writing Supreme Court decisions on police brutality, the exact law Cooper just broke. This badge won't protect him. What follows? Leaked department emails proving a cover-up, federal prosecutors building a case, and an entire system cracking open because they brutalized the wrong man. Keep watching. This gets worse for them. October mornings in Charleston carry weight. History lives in every brick. Salt hangs in every breeze off the harbor. The city wakes slowly, like it's done for 3 centuries. Andrew Barrett doesn't hurry anymore. At 73, he's earned the right to walk at his own pace. His route never changes. Out his front door on Trad Street at 7:15, down toward the Battery, past St. Michael's Church where bells mark the quarter hour. The cobblestones are uneven beneath his shoes, but he knows every dip and rise. He walks with a cane now, hip replacement 2 years ago. Another one scheduled for spring. His doctor keeps telling him to slow down. He keeps ignoring her. The air smells like coffee and baking bread from the cafe on the corner. Delivery trucks rumble past. A jogger nods hello. Andrew nods back. Charleston is waking up, and he likes to watch it happen. He passes the federal courthouse on Meeting Street. Always does. It's not nostalgia exactly. More like ritual. He reaches out and touches the cornerstone. Limestone, cool even in October. His fingers trace the carved date, 1896. This building witnessed the 20th century's entire arc: civil rights cases, desegregation battles, constitutional challenges that rewrote American law. He should know. He argued 17 cases in buildings like this before his appointment, then spent 40 years on the bench making sure justice meant something beyond theory. Retired now, 18 months. Some days it feels longer. Some days he wakes up and forgets he doesn't have a docket to review. His daughter calls every Sunday. She lives in Portland. She wants him to move closer. Says Charleston is too hot, too humid, too stuck in its complicated past. He tells her the same thing every time. He's not done with this city yet. She laughs, says he sounds like a man who doesn't know how to quit. Maybe she's right. He turns onto Meeting Street. His vintage Mercedes is parked 2 blocks up. Burgundy, 1998. He bought it the year he was confirmed. Still runs perfectly. He doesn't drive much anymore, but when he does, he likes knowing the car has history. Like him. The morning sun catches the harbor in the distance. Seagulls wheel overhead. Somewhere, a ship's horn sounds low and long. Charleston moves forward always, but it never forgets where it's been. Andrew reaches his car, unlocks it. The leather interior is warm. He sets his cane on the passenger seat, eases himself behind the wheel. His knees protest. Everything protests these days. He starts the engine. It purrs. He's driving to the library. Tuesday morning book club. They're reading Baldwin this month. Andrew has opinions. Strong ones. The group coordinator jokes that having a former Supreme Court justice in the discussion circle is intimidating. Andrew tells her Baldwin would want everyone intimidated into honesty. He pulls onto Meeting Street. Traffic is light. He drives carefully. Always has. 5 miles under the speed limit. Turns signals for every lane change. His daughter teases him about it, says he drives like someone who's afraid of getting pulled over. He tells her everyone should drive like that, especially in Charleston, especially if you look like him. The thought passes quickly. He's thinking about Baldwin now, about rage and grace, about how justice isn't a destination. It's a practice, daily, imperfect, essential. He doesn't know this is his last peaceful thought for a while. None of us ever do. The ordinary becomes extraordinary in the space between one breath and the next. Behind him, red and blue lights flicker on. The lights aren't an accident. They're a choice. Andrew checks his mirrors. A patrol car. Charleston PD. He signals and pulls over immediately. Meeting Street, near the historic market. Mid-morning, pedestrians on the sidewalk. A tour group clusters around a guide. He puts the car in park. Turns off the engine, hands on the wheel, both of them visible. He learned this a long time ago, not from law books, from living. Footsteps approach, fast, deliberate. The officer appears at his window. White male, late 30s, solid build. His name tag reads Cooper. Badge number 592. License and registration. No greeting, no explanation for the stop. Yes, officer. Andrew's voice is steady. He reaches slowly toward the glove compartment. My registration is here. My license is in my wallet. Keep your hands where I can see them. I am. Andrew opens the glove box, retrieves the registration. His movements are careful, deliberate. He's 73 years old with 2 hip replacements and a pacemaker. Fast isn't an option. Cooper snatches the paper. License. In my back pocket. I'm reaching for my wallet now. Andrew moves his hand slowly, very slowly. His wallet is leather, worn smooth from decades of use. Step out of the vehicle. Andrew pauses. May I ask why I'm being stopped? I said step out of the vehicle. I'm happy to comply, officer. I have mobility issues. Hip replacement. I'll need a moment. Cooper's hand moves to his belt. Not his gun, his radio. I'm not asking again. Andrew opens the door. The October heat hits him. He reaches for his cane. Cooper's hand shoots out and grabs his arm. Leave it! Hands on the hood, now! Officer, I need hands, hood, now! Andrew places his palms flat on the car. The metal is hot. October's sun has been beating down all morning. It burns through his skin. He shifts his weight. His hip aches. Cooper moves behind him, one hand between Andrew's shoulder blades, pressing, hard. Officer, I'm not resisting. The pressure increases. Andrew's face turns sideways. He's trying to breathe. The metal is searing. His cheek presses against it. I said I'm not. Force. Sudden. Downward. His cheek slams into the hood. Pain explodes across his face, hot and sharp. He tastes copper. Blood fills his mouth. Across the street, a tourist named Kevin Walsh raises his phone. He's from Boston, visiting Charleston for the first time. He films without thinking. Pure instinct. Something is wrong. Very wrong. Andrew doesn't move. Can't move. His vision blurs. The officer's weight pins him down. He thinks about his daughter, about the book club he's missing, about the limestone courthouse 2 blocks away. His wallet falls from his pocket, hits the pavement, opens. Cooper steps back, breathing hard. He looks down, sees the wallet, bends to pick it up. Inside is a driver's license. South Carolina. Andrew Henry Barrett. Date of birth, March 14th, 1951. And behind it, visible through the clear plastic, another ID. Federal gold embossed seal. 5 words printed in official typeface. United States Supreme Court Justice. Cooper's hand freezes. His face goes pale, not white, bloodless. The color of someone who just realized they made a career-ending mistake. He looks at the ID, looks at Andrew, back to the ID. Sir, His voice cracks. I need to... Andrew doesn't respond. Blood runs down his chin. His cheek is already swelling. He's 73 years old. Face down on a car hood on Meeting Street because a police officer decided he looked suspicious. Cooper backs away. His hands shake. He reaches for his radio, fumbles it, tries again. 20 feet away, Kevin Walsh keeps filming. His phone captures everything. The slam, the blood. The moment a badge met consequence. The ID lies on hot pavement, gold seal catching sunlight. A promise turned weapon turned witness. Within 20 minutes, 3 things happen. An ambulance, a union representative, a story the department needs to control. The precinct erupts before Andrew even reaches the hospital. Phones ring without stopping. Footsteps pound through hallways. Coffee goes cold in mugs. Someone pulled over a Supreme Court justice. A retired one, yes, but still. This isn't a citizen complaint that disappears into a file. This is national news waiting to detonate. Chief Gregory Stone sits in his office on the 3rd floor. Windows overlook Charleston Harbor. Normally, he likes the view. Today, he's staring at his desk phone like it might explode. It rings, again. Stone. His voice is clipped. Professional. Chief, we have a situation. It's dispatch supervisor Karen Mills. She sounds rattled. Karen never sounds rattled. I heard, Barrett, Meeting Street. It's worse than that. We have witness reports. Someone filmed it, and the body camera. Stone closes his eyes. What about the body camera? Technical malfunction, no footage. Technical malfunction. He repeats it slowly, testing how it sounds. It sounds exactly like what it is. Convenient. Metadata shows the unit was active when Cooper started his shift. Then nothing from 11:23 to 11:27. 4 minutes. 4 minutes and 17 seconds. The exact window of the incident. Stone stands, walks to his window. Harbor traffic moves steadily below, oblivious. He needs this to stay that way. Controlled, quiet, resolved before it becomes something larger. Where's Cooper now? Writing his incident report. Get Thomas Rivers in here. Union rep now. Rivers arrives in 12 minutes. Fraternal Order of Police Lodge. 3 President. 14 years with Charleston PD before moving to union leadership. He knows every loophole, every contract clause, every way to make a problem manageable. He sits across from Stone, doesn't wait for questions. This is manageable. A Supreme Court justice, a retired justice who failed to comply with lawful commands during a legitimate traffic stop. Stone leans forward. Thomas, someone filmed it. Then we need to establish what the film shows. An officer conducting a lawful stop. A subject who appeared resistant. Standard use of force protocol. Cooper has an exemplary record. Cooper has 12 complaints. All unfounded or not sustained, meaning false allegations. One's from July, still open. Rivers waves a hand. Close it, today, before this becomes a pattern conversation. Stone's phone buzzes. Text from the mayor's chief of staff. 4 words. Need to talk, now. Let's talk about the body camera, Stone says. Equipment failure. Happens. At that exact moment. Technology isn't perfect. We document it. Move on. The metadata shows a malfunction. That's what we say. That's what the report reflects. Stone looks at Rivers. Really looks. Thomas Rivers has protection down to a science. Badge insurance, that's what cops call it. The union that makes consequences disappear. Internal Affairs will need to review this. Of course. Full cooperation. Transparent process. I'll make sure Cooper has proper representation. This gets handled by the book. By the book, Stone repeats. The words taste like ash. His desk phone rings. He answers. Listens. His face doesn't change, but something in his eyes shifts. He hangs up. Media's calling. Channel 7, Post and Courier. Someone leaked his name. Rivers stands. Then we get ahead of it. Press statement. Professional, measured. We respect Justice Barrett's service. We're conducting a thorough review. Officer Cooper followed department protocols designed to protect officer safety. Any rush to judgment before investigation concludes would be premature. They're going to ask about the complaints. And we say all previous complaints were investigated and resolved. Next question. Stone drafts the memo. Subject, Meeting Street incident, immediate action required. He types carefully. Every word matters. Every word is evidence. All communication regarding this incident must route through my office. No independent statements, no paper trail beyond required documentation. Handle this quietly. He sends it. Chief Gregory Stone to Lieutenant Raymond Foster, Internal Affairs Division. Copied to Deputy Chief William Allen. Timestamp 2 p.m., October 15th. 5 hours after Andrew Barrett's face hit a car hood. 5 hours to construct a narrative. Across town, Andrew sits in Charleston General's emergency department. A doctor examines his cheek. Mild concussion, facial contusion, no fractures, but they want to monitor him. His daughter is flying in from Portland. She called 4 times in the last hour. A nurse brings him ice. She's young, maybe 30. She doesn't meet his eyes when she hands him the pack, like she's ashamed. Of what, he's not sure. The city, the department, the system that made this ordinary. Thank you, he says. She nods and leaves quickly. Andrew holds ice against his face. The cold helps, not much. He thinks about Cooper's expression, that moment of recognition, fear and calculation in equal measure, not remorse, strategy. His phone buzzes. Text from Sarah Williams, Charleston Post and Courier, investigative reporter. They've met before at courthouse events. Justice Barrett, heard what happened. Would you be willing to talk? He stares at the message. He could ignore it. Let the department's statement stand. Go home. Heal quietly. Be grateful it wasn't worse. Could. He types back. Not yet, but soon. Because the body camera didn't fail. Someone turned it off. And that someone needs to answer the question Andrew has spent 40 years asking. Why does the badge think it stands above the law? The ID that fell on Meeting Street isn't from Costco. By evening, Charleston knows. By midnight, the nation knows. The man, Officer Randall Cooper, slammed against a car hood isn't just another elderly black man stopped for driving while black. He's Andrew Henry Barrett, United States Supreme Court, retired 18 months, 40 years on the federal bench. 23 landmark decisions defending civil rights and police accountability. The journalist who breaks it first is local. Charleston Post and Courier Online edition, 6:47 p.m. Former Supreme Court Justice assaulted in Charleston traffic stop. The headline goes up. Twitter explodes. Reddit threads multiply. Cable news picks it up within the hour. Cooper learns at dinner. His wife is scrolling her phone. Her face goes white. She doesn't say anything, just turns the screen toward him. He reads. The room tilts. His fork clatters against his plate. The steak he's eating turns to sand in his mouth. Randy? His wife's voice sounds far away. Randy, what did you do? He doesn't answer. Can't answer. He's remembering the gold seal, the federal ID, the way Barrett looked at him. Not with anger, with something worse, recognition. Like Andrew Barrett had seen Randall Cooper before. Not physically, conceptually. A type, a pattern, a problem the justice spent decades trying to fix. At Charleston PD headquarters, Chief Stone's office is full. Deputy Chief Allen, Lieutenant Foster from Internal Affairs. Thomas Rivers on speakerphone from union offices. The mayor's chief of staff is there too. Nobody wanted to be there. Everyone needed to be. How did this happen? Mayor's rep sounds tired, angry, both. Routine traffic stop, Stone begins. Nothing about this is routine. The rep cuts him off. Do you understand what we're dealing with? Justice Barrett wrote United States versus Morrison. He wrote Chen versus Oakland PD. He wrote Kansas versus Thompson. Every one of those opinions addressed excessive force and police accountability. And you're telling me one of your officers, we don't have all the facts yet. The facts are on video. A tourist filmed it. It's already circulating on social media. Your body camera mysteriously malfunctioned at the exact moment. Equipment failure. Rivers' voice crackles through the speaker. Documented in our technical logs. The mayor's rep leans toward the phone. Thomas, I respect what you do. But if this blows up, your badge insurance won't cover the political fallout. We're talking federal investigation, DOJ pattern and practice review, budget implications. Every traffic stop in this city will be scrutinized for the next decade. Then we need to establish the narrative now. Rivers' voice doesn't waver. Justice Barrett is a respected figure, we acknowledge that. But respect doesn't change the fundamentals. Officer Cooper initiated a lawful stop. Barrett failed to comply quickly enough. He's 73 with 2 hip replacements. And Cooper employed minimal necessary force per General Order 4.2.3. Any injury was unintentional and immediately addressed with medical response. Lieutenant Foster clears his throat. He's been quiet until now. Internal Affairs Director, 22 years on the force. He knows what's being asked of him without anyone saying it directly. I'll need to interview Cooper. Standard protocol. Of course. Stone nods. Full cooperation. Transparent process. Timeline? 72 hours. We need this resolved before media speculation becomes entrenched. Foster writes it down. 72 hours. 3 days to investigate, document, and close a case that would normally take 3 weeks. Everyone in the room understands what resolved means. Not truth. Control. Across town, in a Charleston General Hospital room, Andrew Barrett declines his 4th media request. He issues a brief statement through his former law clerk. 23 words. I was treated as many are treated every day. The difference is I have resources to fight back. That's the problem. Sarah Williams reads the statement on her laptop. She's in her apartment, coffee growing cold, notebooks scattered across her kitchen table. She's already filed 3 Freedom of Information requests. Cooper's personnel file, body camera technical logs, meeting street dispatch audio. She has a feeling. Journalists call it a nose. Something smells wrong, not the stop. Stops like that happen constantly. The response, the speed, the circling of wagons before anyone even asked questions. Her editor called at 7, asked if she's digging. She said yes. He told her to be careful. Union reps get aggressive when cornered. She told him she's always careful. He laughed, said she's never careful. That's why she's good. She opens a new document, types a working headline, a pattern of impunity. Then she starts making calls. Because if Cooper did this to a Supreme Court justice, what did he do to people without badges of their own? The department wanted quiet. They got a firestorm. Cooper wanted a routine stop. He got a federal case, and the receipts are just starting to stack. Sarah Williams doesn't do fluff pieces. The Post and Courier gave her the investigative beat because she doesn't stop digging until she hits bedrock. Or bone. October 17th, 8 a.m. She files her first Freedom of Information request. Charleston PD personnel records for Officer Randall Cooper, badge 592. Complaint history, disciplinary actions, performance reviews. The law says they have 10 business days to respond. She gives them 3 before she starts calling. By October 20th, she has 47 pages. She reads them in a coffee shop on King Street. The espresso goes cold. She doesn't notice. Complaint number 1, March 2019. Complainant, Marcus Johnson, 34, black male, software engineer. Allegation, excessive force during traffic stop. Details, Cooper allegedly applied a chokehold during arrest for resisting. Video from nearby business shows Johnson with hands raised. Outcome, unfounded. Closed April 2019. Complaint number 2, August 2020. Complainant, Diana Foster, 28, black female, attorney. Allegation, racial profiling and unlawful detention. Details, stopped in affluent neighborhood for matching description of robbery suspect. No robbery report on file, no description on record. Foster asked for supervisor. Cooper threatened obstruction charges. Outcome, not sustained. Closed September 2020. Sarah keeps reading. The pattern emerges like a photograph in developer fluid. Slow, unmistakable. 12 complaints total. 5 years, not one resulted in discipline, not one triggered additional training, not one raised any red flags with internal affairs. 11 of 12 complaints involve people of color, 9 involve stops in zip codes 29401 and 29403. Charleston's historic downtown. Median household income, $186,000. Where people with money meet people with badges. Sarah maps it, literally. Pushes pins into a corkboard in her apartment. Each pin represents a complaint. They cluster like a disease pattern. Same neighborhoods, same demographics, same officer. She calls Marcus Johnson, gets voicemail, leaves a message. He calls back that night. Miss Williams, I appreciate what you're doing, but I moved on. I have a family now, a career. I can't. I'm not asking you to go on record. Just tell me what happened. Background only. Silence. Then, he choked me. For 20 seconds, I thought I was going to die on Calhoun Street because I didn't signal a lane change fast enough. I filed a complaint. They told me my story didn't match the evidence. What evidence? His word against mine. Badge wins every time. Sarah writes it down, every word. She calls Diana Foster next. Foster is easier. Lawyers understand documentation. Officer Cooper stopped me 3 blocks from my own house. Said I matched a description. I asked what description. He wouldn't say. I asked for his badge number. He got aggressive, told me I could do this easy or hard. I said, I'm an attorney. I know my rights. He said my rights were whatever he decided they were. I've never felt so powerless in my life, and I argued before the 4th Circuit twice. Did Internal Affairs contact you? Once. Interviewed me for 15 minutes. Never heard back. 6 weeks later, I got a letter. Not sustained, like it never happened. Sarah adds Foster's story to her growing file. On October 22nd, she gets a break. Anonymous email. Subject line. You're looking at Cooper, look harder. The email contains a link. Hotel security footage. Battery Street, Weston. October 15th. Different angle than the tourist video that's already circulating. This one is clearer. Higher resolution. 4K color. Timestamp. 11 hours, 24 minutes, and 3 seconds a.m. Andrew Barrett's hands visible on the car hood. Flat. Still. Completely compliant. Cooper's hand between his shoulder blades. Pressing. Barrett's face turns sideways. He's trying to breathe, trying to speak. Cooper's other hand moves to Barrett's head. Downward pressure, hard. Barrett's cheek impacts the hood. Sarah watches it 12 times. Each time she sees something new. Barrett's age visible in his movements. Slow, careful, non-threatening. Cooper's body language radiating aggression. Authority wielded like a weapon. She reaches out to Dr. Helen Taylor, former NYPD captain, doctorate in criminal justice from John Jay, now a police reform consultant. They've worked together before. Taylor agrees to review the footage and complaint files. 2 days later, she sends Sarah a 23-page analysis. The statistical breakdown is damning. Cooper's stop patterns show racial disparity at p-value less than .001. That's academic language for essentially impossible unless intentional. 71% of his stops involve people of color. Charleston demographics, 25% Black or Latino. Geographic focus, 78% of stops in 2 wealthy zip codes. 89 total quality stops in 2023. 62 resulted in asset seizure through civil forfeiture. Only 23 resulted in actual charges. Sarah stops reading, goes back, reads that paragraph again. Civil asset forfeiture. The legal process where police seize cash and property from citizens during arrests. Supposed to target criminals, supposed to require conviction. Reality, police take first, ask questions later, sometimes never. She starts digging into Charleston PD's budget, public records, annual reports, buried in the fiscal 2023 documents, line item 7-34, asset forfeiture recovery, $2.3 million. That's money seized from citizens, money that went into the department's budget, money that funds equipment, bonuses, overtime. She cross-references officer performance metrics. Cooper's unit, traffic interdiction, accounts for 34% of total forfeitures. His personal stats, 89 quality stops, 62 asset seizures. Average recovery, $1,850 per seizure. His performance reviews call him highly productive, a model officer, someone who exceeds expectations. Translation, Cooper stops people, takes their money, and the department keeps it whether charges stick or not. It's not law enforcement. It's revenue generation. Sarah sits back. Her coffee is cold again. She doesn't care. She's found it. Not just one bad cop, a system that rewards bad behavior with performance bonuses and promotions. She interviews another complainant. Teresa Mendez, small restaurant owner. Cooper stopped her in July 2023. Found $2,800 cash in her car. Weekly restaurant receipts. She told him that. He said carrying that much cash was suspicious. Seized it under civil asset forfeiture. Never charged her. Never returned the money. He told me if I complained, he'd make sure ICE checked my restaurant. Miss Williams, I'm a U.S. citizen. My parents are citizens. But he saw my last name and made assumptions. I needed that money for rent, for payroll. I didn't complain because I was scared. And that's exactly what he counted on. By October 24th, Sarah has enough. She writes the article, 6,300 words, front page, above the fold. The headline, A Pattern of Impunity, How Charleston PD Protects Its Most Aggressive Officer. Re-engagement moment. Pause here if you need to. I know this is heavy, but here's why it matters. Sarah found 47 other cases beyond the 12 in Cooper's official file. 47 people who encountered Cooper and never filed complaints because they didn't think anyone would listen. Drop a comment if you think this pattern exists in your city. It probably does. The article details Cooper's complaint history, the racial disparities, the civil forfeiture numbers, the body camera malfunction that wasn't a malfunction. Metadata shows manual shutdown 3 seconds before the Barrett incident. Technical logs confirm it. She quotes Dr. Taylor's analysis. She includes statements from 4 complainants willing to go on record. She ends with a question. If this happened to a Supreme Court justice, what happens to everyone else? The article publishes at 6 a.m. By 9 a.m., it has 32,000 page views. By noon, it's been shared 14,000 times on social media. By 10 a.m., Charleston PD issues a response. 4 paragraphs. Professional, measured, defensive. The Charleston Police Department takes all allegations seriously. Officer Cooper's personnel file reflects years of dedicated service. Previous complaints were thoroughly investigated and found to be without merit. The Post and Courier article represents selective use of data to support a predetermined narrative. We respect Justice Barrett and are committed to a full, fair investigation. It's a masterclass in saying nothing while sounding official. Sarah reads it twice. Searches for the word sorry. Doesn't find it. Searches for accountability. Doesn't find that either. But she finds something else. Buried in paragraph 3. We stand behind our officers who make difficult decisions in challenging circumstances. Present tense. Stand behind. Not review or investigate. Stand behind. The department already decided. Before internal affairs finished. Before any real accountability. Sarah forwards the statement to Andrew Barrett, adds one line, they're not investigating, they're protecting, we keep digging. His response comes in 3 minutes, we keep digging. Because 12 victims with 12 complaints and 0 consequences means the system isn't broken. It's working exactly as designed. And that design needs to change. The union doesn't defend officers, it defends the system that protects them. October 25th, 10 a.m. Thomas Rivers calls a press conference. Fraternal Order of Police Lodge 3 headquarters. Flags behind him, American South Carolina FOP. Cameras from every local outlet, national media on remote feed. Rivers wears his dress uniform even though he hasn't been active duty in 6 years. The effect is intentional. Authority, brotherhood, us versus them. Officer Randall Cooper is a 14-year veteran with an exemplary record. His voice carries across the room, measured, confident. This rush to judgment represents everything wrong with today's anti-police climate. Justice Barrett, and we respect his service, failed to comply with lawful commands during a legitimate traffic stop. Officer Cooper followed department protocols designed to protect officer safety. He pauses, looks directly at the cameras. The so-called complaints in his file, all unfounded or not sustained. That means false allegations. Yet the media runs with a narrative before investigation concludes. This is politically motivated persecution of a good officer doing a hard job. No questions. Rivers walks out. The message is clear. Cooper is the victim here. The real crime is asking questions. Through official channels, Chief Stone later issues a statement for the record. Internal Affairs is conducting a thorough review per established protocols. Officer Cooper maintains the stop was justified and force minimal. We respect the investigative process and ask the public to withhold judgment until facts are complete. Any threats against journalists or witnesses are unacceptable and not representative of Charleston PD values. That evening, Sarah Williams' phone rings. 11:43 p.m. Unknown number. She almost doesn't answer. Something makes her pick up. Journalist instinct or stupidity? Sometimes they're the same thing. Male voice. Calm. Too calm. Not yelling. Somehow worse. Miss Williams, read your article. Real thorough. You got a daughter, right? 4 years old, Oak Street preschool, cute kid, red backpack. I see her every morning. You should be careful what stories you chase. Wouldn't want anything to distract you from what really matters. Think about it. Click. The line goes dead. Sarah sits frozen. Her apartment suddenly feels too quiet, too exposed. Her daughter is with her ex-husband tonight. She texts him. Don't take Emma to school tomorrow. I'll explain later. He responds with question marks. She doesn't answer. She calls the police to report the threat. The irony isn't lost on her. The desk sergeant takes her information, says someone will follow up. Nobody does. She traces the number. Prepaid burner. Untraceable. But the details in the call, Oak Street preschool, red backpack, morning routine, those aren't public information. Whoever called was watching or knew someone who was. Other victims start receiving visits. Marcus Johnson gets a call from an old friend he doesn't recognize. The friend suggests it might be good to let bygones be bygones. Kevin Walsh, the tourist who filmed the original incident, cancels his planned return to Charleston for a potential deposition. His email to Sarah's lawyer is brief. Safety concerns for my family. Diana Foster, the attorney, is tougher to intimidate. She gets a HIPAA request at her gynecologist's office. From a law firm she's never heard of, requesting medical records related to pending litigation. There is no pending litigation. The request is phishing, or a message. Maybe both. Andrew Barrett keeps taking his morning walks, but now patrol cars appear on his route. Coincidentally, always different officers, always friendly, always there. Not threats, presence. Reminder, we know where you are. On October 26th, Andrew has a dizzy spell. His daughter is visiting from Portland. She insists they go to the hospital. The ER doctor diagnoses post-concussion syndrome, recommends rest, monitoring, follow-up in 2 weeks. Nothing serious, probably. But at 73 with head trauma probably isn't good enough. They keep him overnight for observation, standard protocol. His room is on the 4th floor. Sarah visits against hospital security advice, brings coffee and her laptop. You should stop, Andrew says. They're coming after everyone. They're scared. That means we're close. They're dangerous. That's different than scared. She pulls up her latest draft. 3 more sources. Pattern analysis from Dr. Taylor. Statistical evidence showing Cooper's stop patterns couldn't be random. Andrew reads it slowly. When he finishes, his hands are shaking. Not from fear, from rage held in check for 73 years, a lifetime of maintaining dignity while the world tested whether he deserved it. I wrote United States versus Morrison, he says quietly. I wrote Tennessee versus Garner. I spent 40 years arguing that badge doesn't grant immunity from law. I'm not stopping because they tried to make me dizzy. Sarah smiles. Write your story? Write your story, I'll stand when it matters. His hands shake, but his voice doesn't. Because some fights you don't choose. They choose you. And walking away just means the next person faces them alone. Outside, Charleston's historic district glows under streetlights. Beautiful, indifferent. The city that witnessed slavery, the Civil War, Reconstruction, Jim Crow, desegregation, and now this, another chapter, another test of whether America means what it says about equal justice under law. The answer is being written, one threatened journalist at a time, one intimidated witness at a time, one elderly man in a hospital bed deciding that dignity matters more than comfort. This is where most stories end. Threats work, witnesses disappear, media moves on. The system protects itself. But October 28th, something shifts. A town hall gets scheduled, and the room fills with people the department never expected. October 21st, 3:46 p.m. Internal Affairs releases its findings. 2 pages, 1 conclusion. Lieutenant Raymond Foster's signature appears at the bottom. Official seal of Charleston Police Department. Case number 2024-10-598. Subject, Officer Randall Cooper. Investigation into October 15th incident involving Andrew H. Barrett. The letter is a masterpiece of bureaucratic protection. Following comprehensive review of October 15th incident involving Officer Randall Cooper, badge 592, this office finds traffic stop initiated based on reasonable suspicion per General Order 3, 1.4. Subject failed to immediately comply with verbal commands, creating officer safety concern. Officer Cooper employed minimal necessary force per General Order 4, 2.3. Body camera malfunction classified as equipment failure, no operator error identified. Medical response appropriately dispatched, no policy violations identified. Conclusion, exonerated. Officer Cooper cleared for active duty. Case closed. The timeline tells its own story. Rivers met with Foster on October 18th. Meeting logged in visitor records. Notes marked privileged attorney-client communication. 72 hours later, Cooper is cleared. Exactly the timeline Stone promised. The media picks it up immediately. Department triumphant in press releases. Thorough investigation confirms officer followed protocol. Sarah's follow-up article pushes back. Gets buried under sports scores and hurricane coverage. National news has moved on. There's always another crisis, another outrage, another day. Andrew sits in his study, books floor to ceiling. Constitutional law, civil rights cases, 40 years of trying to bend the arc toward justice. His hands rest on his desk. They shake again. Age, concussion, something deeper, the weight of wondering if any of it mattered. He thinks about the 23 decisions he wrote defending people's rights against excessive force. He thinks about his majority opinion in Chen versus Oakland PD. The one establishing that badge camera malfunctions can constitute evidence of intent. He thinks about how none of it stopped Officer Cooper from doing what he did. None of it stopped the system from protecting him. Outside, Charleston's historic district glows under streetlights. Beautiful, indifferent. Maybe he's too old for this fight. Maybe it's time to let younger people carry it. His daughter keeps calling, keeps saying the same thing. Move to Portland, rest, you earned it. Maybe she's right. The Post and Courier runs another editorial, this one more cautious. While questions remain about the Barrett incident, we must trust our institutions to police themselves. Internal Affairs has spoken. We should respect that process. Translation, we're tired of this story. It's costing us advertising revenue. Police union threatened to pull recruitment ads. Let it go. Sarah sends him the editorial. Adds one word, cowards. He doesn't respond. What's the point? The system did what systems do. Protected itself, declared victory, moved on. Cooper is back on patrol. Andrew sees him 3 days after the IA letter, driving past on Meeting Street, badge gleaming, gun holstered, authority intact. Their eyes meet for half a second. Cooper looks away first, but he's driving, he's free. He won. Marcus Johnson never returned Sarah's follow-up calls. Diana Foster said she's done talking, can't risk her law practice for a fight that's already lost. Kevin Walsh is back in Boston, deleted the video from his phone. Too much stress, too many anonymous emails telling him to mind his business. The complaints are still there, 12 cases, 5 years. But they're just paper now, unfounded, not sustained, closed, filed away in a basement somewhere, gathering dust and irrelevance. This is where most stories end. IA clears the officer, media moves on, justice dies quietly, but not this time. Stay with me, because what happens next changes everything. Andrew's phone rings, breaks the silence. He almost doesn't answer. Sees the name, Sarah Williams. Justice Barrett, turn on the news. Something's happening. He reaches for the remote. Channel 7, breaking news banner. Charleston Community Town Hall on police accountability, standing room only. The camera shows Morris Street Baptist Church. People streaming in, more than the building can hold. Some carrying signs, some holding children, some just tired of being silent. Maybe hope doesn't announce itself with fanfare. Maybe it starts small, a phone call, a leak, a community deciding enough is enough. The Morris Street Baptist Church holds 300 people. Tonight, 420 show up. They overflow into the fellowship hall, spill onto the front steps, set up speakers outside so everyone can hear. This isn't a meeting anymore. It's a reckoning. Reverend Patricia Coleman opens with prayer, then steps aside. Tonight isn't about me. It's about testimony, about truth, about people who've been silent too long. The microphone goes to Marcus Johnson. He hasn't spoken publicly in 5 years. His hands grip the podium. Officer Cooper stopped me on King Street. 2019. Said I matched a robbery suspect. I'm 5'6". The suspect was 6'2". Didn't matter, he put me in a chokehold. I couldn't breathe. My lawsuit got dismissed. But I remember his badge number. 592. Applause, not celebration. Recognition. Solidarity. Diana Foster goes next. I'm an attorney. I know my rights. Didn't matter. He stopped me in my own neighborhood. Matching description. There was no description. When I asked for his supervisor, he threatened to arrest me for obstruction. I filed a complaint. They said it was unfounded. I have a law degree from Georgetown. They called me a liar. 7 people total. 7 stories. Same pattern, same officer, same department response, nothing. Dr. Helen Taylor takes the podium, former NYPD captain. Her analysis is clinical, devastating. I mapped 89 of Officer Cooper's stops over 5 years. Racial disparity, 71% people of color versus 25% city demographics. Statistical significance, p-value less than .001. In plain language, this pattern is mathematically impossible unless it's intentional. This is profiling. This is revenue generation disguised as law enforcement. This is systemic. She displays a chart. Traffic stops by zip code, asset forfeitures by race, complaint rates versus discipline rates. The numbers tell a story the department can't spin away. James Morgan stands, ACLU South Carolina director. His statement is brief, powerful. We're filing a pattern and practice lawsuit against Charleston PD, not just about Officer Cooper, about the system that enabled him for 5 years, about internal affairs that cleared him in 72 hours, about the union that threatened witnesses, about a culture that values revenue over rights. This ends now. The room erupts. Not chaos, purpose. Andrew Barrett sits in the 3rd row, quiet. When they ask him to speak, he stands slowly, uses his cane. The room goes silent. You honored my service earlier. Thank you. But I don't deserve special treatment. I deserve what every person here deserves: dignity, respect, equal protection under law. I didn't need to show my ID to deserve that, neither do you. He pauses, lets it settle. This isn't about me. It's about a system I spent 40 years trying to fix. Clearly, I didn't finish the job, so let's finish it together. Standing ovation, 90 seconds, longer. The town hall ends at 9:43 p.m. By 9:45, footage is on social media. By midnight, viral. Hashtags trend. #Charleston accountability. #justice for all. #badges don't protect. By 8 a.m. November 2nd, someone in Charleston PD union office hits reply all on an email they definitely shouldn't have. Attachments included: 47 emails, 3 years of internal communication, quota systems, revenue targets, cover-up strategies, everything changes. Again, November 2nd, 6:23 a.m., Sarah Williams' inbox chimes. Subject line, "You need to see this." Sender, anonymous. Attachment, 47 emails, 7 megabytes of evidence. She opens the first one, coffee halfway to her mouth. The cup stays suspended. From Thomas Rivers, to Chief Gregory Stone. Date, October 16th, 10:23 a.m. Subject, Barrett Incident, Strategy. Greg, we need to control this narrative immediately. Barrett's identity complicates things but doesn't change fundamentals. Cooper followed protocol. Any investigation needs to reflect that. Let's meet before IA interviews him. Usual place, 2 p.m. Email 2. October 18th, Stone to Lieutenant Foster. Ray, Union Counsel will be present for Cooper interview per contract. Let's aim to wrap this by end of week. Counsel's getting nervous about optics. You know how this works? Email 3, the one that makes Sarah's hands shake. From Council Member Patricia Green to Thomas Rivers, Chief Stone. Date, October 19th. Subject line, Barrett problem, final solution. Gentlemen, the political exposure here is unacceptable. We're entering budget season. The forfeiture revenue line is under scrutiny as is. We can't afford a federal investigation. Whatever it takes to make this go away quietly, do it. Final solution. Those words. In official city correspondence. Sarah reads it 3 times, checks the metadata. Authentic. Sent from Green's official email address. City server. Email 7, October 20th. Stone to Rivers. Union's liability insurance covers legal defense, correct? If this goes federal, we'll need that. Also, the witness left town. Can we ensure he stays uninterested? Witness tampering. In writing, from the Chief of Police. Email 33, October 29th. Night of the Town Hall. Rivers to Stone, Deputy Chief Allen, Council Member Green. The Barrett Town Hall just became a nightmare. Multiple complainants went public. ACLU's filing pattern practice suit. Media spinning this as systemic. We need emergency strategy session. Tomorrow, 7 a.m., my office. Do not put anything else in writing. Too late for that advice. Email 47, the attachment that breaks everything open. Deputy Chief William Allen, October 30th. Subject, FWQ3 performance expectations. Sent to all department heads. Accidentally includes Sarah Williams from a previous thread. The attachment is an Excel spreadsheet. Q3 2024 traffic interdiction performance, confidential. The columns tell the story. Officer name, badge number, stops per month, citations, asset seizures, total recovery dollars, performance rating. Officer Randall Cooper, badge 592, 22 stops per month, 147% of target, 14 citations, 140% of target, 8 asset seizures monthly, 160% of target, average recovery $8,200. Performance rating exceeds expectations. Notes, top performer model for unit. Fine print at bottom. Asset recovery contributes to department budget per Civil Asset Forfeiture Reform Act. Performance bonuses tied to departmental revenue targets. Cops get paid more for taking citizens' money. Whether charges stick or not, it's not policing. It's organized theft with badges. Sarah forwards everything to her editor, to her lawyer, to James Morgan at the ACLU, to the U.S. Attorney's Office, District of South Carolina. By noon, federal prosecutors issue a statement. Brief, devastating. In light of evidence suggesting potential civil rights violations and violations of federal asset forfeiture statutes, this office is convening a grand jury to investigate Charleston Police Department's traffic enforcement practices. First session, November 9th. The emails were supposed to stay private. The quota system was supposed to stay hidden. The connection between Cooper's productivity and department revenue was supposed to remain deniable. But somebody inside decided truth mattered more than loyalty. Somebody hit send. And November 9th, that truth walks into a federal courtroom. The federal courthouse on Broad Street has witnessed history, secession debates, desegregation cases, civil rights battles that rewrote the South. Today, it adds another chapter. November 9th, 9 a.m., the grand jury convenes. Judge Patricia Allen presiding. 23 citizens sworn to hear evidence and determine whether charges are warranted. The room is oak-paneled, solemn, heavy with the weight of consequence. Andrew Barrett takes the oath. His hand doesn't shake. Prosecutor Michael Harrison asks the questions. Simple, direct, let the facts speak. Justice Barrett, please describe October 15th. I was driving east on Meeting Street, approximately 11:20 a.m. I noticed patrol lights, pulled over immediately. I have mobility issues, arthritis, recent hip replacement. My movements are slower. Officer Cooper approached, asked for license and registration. I complied. He asked me to step out. I explained my limitations. He became impatient. What happened next? He grabbed my arm, forcefully, led me to the front of my car, told me hands on the hood. I complied. The metal was hot. October sun. Then his hand pressed between my shoulder blades. Hard. I said I wasn't resisting. He pressed harder. My face turned. I was trying to breathe. Then force. Downward. My cheek hit the hood. I felt blood. Did you at any time resist? No. I'm 73 with 2 hip replacements and a pacemaker. I couldn't resist if I wanted to, and I didn't want to. I know what resistance looks like legally. That wasn't it. You spent 40 years as a federal judge, 23 opinions on Fourth Amendment and police conduct. Your assessment of Officer Cooper's actions? Defense attorney objects. Judge Allen allows it. Andrew pauses, measures his words. I wrote United States versus Morrison, established that badge camera manipulation can constitute consciousness of guilt. I wrote Chen versus Oakland PD. Excessive force doesn't require physical injury, terror suffices, humiliation suffices. I wrote Kansas versus Thompson. Requires articulable suspicion beyond the driver looks suspicious. Another pause. The room leans forward. Officer Cooper violated every standard I spent my career defending. But here's what matters more. I didn't need to be a Supreme Court justice to deserve dignity that day. I just needed to be human. So did the 12 other people he did this to. Silence. 15 seconds. You can hear the courtroom clock tick. Next witness, Officer Marcus Young, Cooper's partner, the silent one, until now. Officer Young, you were present October 15th? Yes. What did you observe? Long pause. Young's voice cracks. Everything Justice Barrett described. It happened. You've been Cooper's partner 3 years. Is this pattern typical? He calls it quality stops. Targets people who look like they have cash. Luxury cars in certain neighborhoods. People of color mostly. The stops are pretextual, force unnecessary. But we have quotas, unofficial ones. Department rewards his numbers. I stayed quiet because that's how you survive. You're testifying now. Why? Because Justice Barrett shouldn't have needed to be Justice Barrett to be treated with respect. Because I have a son. He's 9. He's black. One day he'll drive. I won't let him grow up in a world where this is normal. November 13th, 4:15 p.m., the grand jury returns indictment. United States versus Randall Cooper. Count 1, deprivation of rights under color of law. Count 2, assault resulting in bodily injury. Count 3, falsifying records. Count 4, conspiracy to obstruct justice. Bail, $50,000. Trial date, pending. Additionally, Department of Justice announces pattern and practice investigation into Charleston PD. Cooper is suspended without pay. Chief Stone announces early retirement. Union President Rivers lawyers up. City Council schedules emergency session. The receipts worked. Now comes the harder part, making sure change lasts. November 20th, City Council votes 8-1, reforms pass, independent civilian oversight board, body cameras mandatory, tampering equals termination. All seized assets go to state general fund, not department budget. Public database of complaints and outcomes. Implicit bias training, 40 hours annually. Early warning system for officers with 3 or more complaints in 12 months. Implementation deadline, 180 days. It's not perfect, it's not enough. But it's a start. Andrew Barrett stands on courthouse steps. Not as justice, as citizen. 3 sentences. For 40 years I tried to write justice into law. October 15th taught me law isn't enough without accountability. This city just chose accountability. Now we watch to make sure that choice becomes reality. No badge stands above the law, not because someone wrote it in the Constitution, though they did, but because communities decided to stop accepting anything less. Officer Cooper thought he could slam a 73-year-old man into a car and walk away. He thought wrong. The system that protected him for 12 complaints thought it could protect him on the 13th. It thought wrong. This didn't happen because Andrew Barrett was a Supreme Court justice. It happened because people decided his story mattered. Because witnesses spoke up. Journalists dug deeper. A community said enough. One partner found his conscience. Because receipts stacked high enough to topple walls. The next time won't be a justice. It'll be someone's grandfather, someone's son, someone without resources or platform. Whether that person gets justice depends on whether we demand it. Every time, for everyone. If this story resonated, if you've experienced profiling, witnessed abuse of power, believe accountability matters, leave a comment. Share your story. We see you. Hit subscribe for more investigations where we follow receipts, not headlines. Here's what matters. In your city, demand transparency. FOIA your police department's complaint records. Ask about body camera policies. Show up to city council meetings. Reform doesn't happen because powerful people decide to be better. It happens because regular people decide to pay attention. Charleston changed because people wouldn't look away. Your city can too. The work continues. So do we. Some badges think they own the street. Andrew Barrett reminded them, the street belongs to all of us, and we're watching.